Daniel Goleman wrote a book in 1995 talking about emotional intelligence, and it discusses the importance of having emotional intelligence in the business world. He researched many large global companies and found that while many traditional qualities of leadership, such as intelligence, determination, having a vision, which were important as entry-level requirements, but were insufficient for success without emotional intelligence. Also, he have found many ties between emotion and intelligence and measurable business results. He got together with many physiologists and senior managers at different companies, outlines what capabilities. They saw an outstanding business performer, and they interviewed a lot of individuals and tested for all these different capabilities and found that emotional intelligence was 2 times more important than your purely technical and cognitive abilities. And when people got even higher up in management or as a job promotion, the emotional intelligence was even more important since everyone was pretty much on the same playing field when it came to technical abilities. What is the emotional intelligence? Well, Goldman breaks that down into 5 different aspects of what makes emotional intelligence: self awareness, self regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. First, self awareness. That is basically having a deep understanding of your emotions, strengths, weaknesses, needs, and what drives you. Someone who has self aware is neither overly critical or unrealistically hopeful. They are honest with themselves and people around them. They are aware of their feelings, how they affect people. They understand the value and goals that they have for their lives. How we recognize someone with self-awareness? They are very honest. Have a lot of candor. They can assess themselves realistically. They are also very good of making judgment calls, which is very important in their business world. So that really helps them with management position. Let me say, having or knowing yourself is very important.
Can emotional intelligence be learned? Goldman raises an important question about whether people are born with certain levels of these emotional intelligence components or they can acquire them through their life experience. The answer is both are right. It can be either learned or it can be a genetic component that increases with age. So some people need training to enhance their emotional intelligence. The second component of emotional intelligence is self-regulation. Leaders who have a self-regulation skills can find ways to control their emotional impulses. They have the ability to pick their words carefully and acknowledge their poor performance without giving a quick judgment. They take in consideration the reason for failure. They are reasonable, which will enable them to create a trust environment that leads to high performance. The third component is motivation. It's concerned with leaders that are motivated by their desire to achieve for the sake of achievement, rather than any external rewards. They have passion for work itself. They love to learn. They feel that they belong, which will lead to a great performance. When leader sets the performance bar high for himself, he will do the same to the organization that he belongs to. So, he will be able to build a team of managers who can do the same. The first 3 components of emotional intelligence are self-management skills. The last two focus on the personal ability to manage their relationships, which are empathy and social skills. For empathy, it's all about considering people's feelings along with making appropriate decisions. When good people leave, they take a company's knowledge with them. Leaders need empathy to keep and develop good people. It helps to increase job satisfaction and decrease turnover. The last component of emotional intelligence is social skills. It helps people to acquire that nothing important can be done alone. Leaders' task is to get work done through people's collaboration. So leaders can understand and manage relationships effectively when they can understand and control their emotions. They have the ability to empathize with others. This means that all of the emotional intelligence components are interrelated, and social skill helps leaders to put these emotional intelligence to work.
And now for the detector picker part. I believe that self awareness is the major component and the starting point for the emotional intelligence. It's the starting point where all other components come from. Self awareness is not gained in books and from reading, but it can be learned with practice and honest self assessment. Leaders who are not easily admitting where they are and who cannot recognize their moods and regulate their impulses cannot easily empathize with others in the same situation. I found a very interesting quote that says many leadership problems are driven by low self awareness, and I believe that is the major component that the article was speaking about. The other major component that I found in the article was that emotional intelligence can be learned through practice. Many leaders can think that they don't have it and they just need to cope with this, whereas this is not true. I found some interesting practices that can help leaders improve their emotional intelligence, just like noticing how your behavior affects others, take responsibility for my words and actions, learn to motivate myself, and practice self awareness, use active listening, and empathize with other people.
A connector from real life on how empathy can be a very important characteristic of a school principal. Back in 2021, amid the COVID-19 pandemic, many of the teachers in my school felt very stressed out and very anxious with the increasing number of sick students at school. My school principal contacted the health authorities to approve the closure of our school, but her request was denied. During the next few days, the numbers of sick children were increasing, adding too much pressure and stress to both teachers and students. Our school principal took a very courageous decision by closing the school down on her own responsibility. Teachers and students were asked to stay home and continue the learning process online. The principal's decision made the school staff feel that they are really listened to and cared about.